don't we go ahead and hit, there you go. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for those that have joined. My name is Patty Mason. I'm with Switch Automation, and we're really excited to be featuring one of our longtime customers and user of the Switch platform, Fifth Third Bank, and Robert Woodall. And so just as a way of introduction, Switch Automation is a global technology company that is aiming to digitize and decarbonize buildings. And we work across all different building types, all different building sizes and verticals, whether that's, what we're going to hear a little bit about today, which is large quantities of smaller facilities like bank branches, all the way up to Class A commercial office buildings in major metropolitan areas, as well as, a global presence. So a great solution for folks looking for a global team that can manage global portfolios. Switch Automation I'm calling in from Denver, Colorado. Our North America team is primarily headquartered here, but we've got teammates scattered all across the US, as well as a team in Singapore, Sydney, Australia. We've got a team in the Philippines. So we're a 24/7 shop and excited to be again here with you today to talk a little bit about portfolio benchmarking. I think oftentimes smart building solutions we're thinking about real-time data. We're thinking about integrations into IoT devices, into building automation systems. And of course, we offer solutions for that. But, a big moment for us at Switch right now is this idea of offering a free solution or a way to get started with anything as simple as a utility bill. And so it's easy to get started on your path to digitization and decarbonization. But the first step for all of us is typically benchmarking your buildings and figuring out where you're at today and prioritizing. And so again, we're excited to share the story of Fifth Third Bank. And I want to hand it over to Robert to kick us off by telling us a little bit about himself and more so a little bit about what Fifth Third Bank has been up to since it started its journey to decarbonization.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I look forward to sharing this time with you. So I want to give you a quick update on what I'm calling our BMS results. This is our building management system, and this is where we began our journey. So my name is Robert Woodall. I am the Fifth Third Bank in-house subject matter expert for our building, mechanical, electrical, plumbing work. I also oversee the repair and maintenance contractor. I provide guidance for our property management related building technologies. So this is right in my wheelhouse. This is exactly what I love doing. My background is in property management and building maintenance, and I've been in this industry for over 40 years. I currently hold active HVAC and refrigeration contractors licenses in the state of Alabama, have my RPA, FMA, SMA, SMT, and I'm now working on my BOMA HP designations through BOMA International. I also have lead GA through the USGBC. My Fifth Third journey began in October of 2017. So this is my anniversary month, yay. And I've enjoyed every minute of this journey. So I'm excited about what Fifth Third Bank has been doing, and also excited about sharing to you what we've done. One of the quick questions that comes up all the time is, where did Fifth Third Bank get their name? So the name came about in 1927 when Third National Bank and Fifth National Bank consolidated, and they became the Fifth Third Union Trust Company. Then in 1969, we officially adopted the name Fifth Third Bank. We currently have over 20,000 employees, 1,100 banking centers, and we own or lease, occupy about 5.7 million square feet in 11 states. So pretty good sized portfolio. Love what we do and how we do it. So I want to share a little bit, get right into that, the meat of what we want to talk about today. So we began our BMS journey in 2017 with wanting to get some visibility into our properties as well as to improve the performance of our buildings. One of the first things that we did is we set our temperature set points, our schedule standards, and provided that to our facilities enterprise-wide. The next thing we did is began to do program goals and objectives for HVAC BMS program. And I want to highlight that it was HVAC. And one of the reasons that we did do HVAC only is because we were trying to control our return on investment and also being able to provide the biggest impact that we can financially by controlling our air conditioning systems. Our goal was to provide a consistent indoor work environment for our employees and customers with a 15% energy savings while proactively identifying maintenance opportunities. We included locations that are greater than 1,000 square feet, that Fifth Third pays the electric gas utility bill, and we maintain the HVAC systems. We wanted to be open protocol backnet controls, all locations to be accessed through one single UI or pane of glass. And as I stated, we only did the HVAC under this first approach so that we could get the base system in and be able to have a decent return on our investment. We did use a 4-phase strategy, so I'll talk more about that in just a minute. The UI must be customizable for Fifth Third, and we want to use consistent data tagging and naming convention. Anybody that's embarked on this endeavor knows what happens when you don't do that. It becomes a real problem for being able to do baseline setups and being able to compare building to building. Analytics needed to provide workspaces or dashboards that provide quick view, actionable, and I want to highlight in the conversation actionable items. Data is not much good if it's not something our property management team can grab hold of and instantly do something with. So that was very important to us. The analytics, of course, had to meet the Fifth Third financial, consumption, and savings reporting requirements and provide data integration with all of our multiple siloed data sources. So some of those examples is our work order CMMS system, our property management system of record, which is where all of our square footage, information about the building itself, its owned, its leased, what type of building it is. That works well for being able to compare buildings. Employee count and location assignments, utility bill pay provider, our building management system. Obviously, the analytics needs to be able to communicate with it. And then, of course, I always told them that other things as we find them in the future, because as we move more into the IoT world, there's going to be other things that we need our analytic platform to be able to integrate with. The last thing, and then probably one of the real important things, is it must meet all of Fifth Third's IT security requirements. So there's a lot of things there in the IT world that we had to make sure that all of our platforms met those requirements. So we began an unusual journey. At this point, we engaged in a 3-part single source initiative. I did use a review panel with diverse professional expertise. These were Fifth Third employees from different areas within Fifth Third. So I had IT, I had sourcing, I had finance, I had everybody from all of the different aspects of the company, because I was trying to build the influence of how important it is to do what it is that we're about to do. So we were looking for companies with proven technology in 3 areas of expertise: master systems integration, BMS infrastructure, and our user interface and site hosting, excuse me, and our advanced analytics. Those 3 components could not be separated. Those 3 are key to the success of what we're trying to accomplish. Our deployment strategy for our BMS has been in phases. We started with 3 POCs back in 2018. We used a diverse geographic spread. So we had a building in Florida, in Ohio, and in Illinois. This gave us an opportunity to prove out and test the installation, the integration process, what that user interface provides us, its functionality, and also to begin to document our savings performance. Everyone is looking at your savings performance. Can you do what you say you do? You want to do 15%, prove it to me. So that was a key factor that we use switch automation to help us be able to prove out that savings performance. Everything passed through, believe it or not, and in 2019, we began the phase 1 approach for installations with 230 locations and we're continuing each year through phases. We will finish our last phase for the base system and HVAC command and control at the end of next year. That will incorporate all of our buildings that meet the criteria that I outlined earlier. Next slide, please.
Before I go on, Robert, I
Okay.
want to reiterate it's awesome that you brought in the diverse stakeholders into your selection process. Are those same groups of stakeholders continuing to be involved? You kind of connect with them as these projects are going on, and are they engaging in the project as it moves forward?
Yes, they are vital and key. One of the things I'll talk about in the next slide is just to state that the vendors that you choose, the partners that are chosen for those three activities are key. In our particular case, all three of those are three separate companies. There were some companies that we reviewed that did have the ability to do multiple trades there. Our selection through the RFP process was to choose three separate vendors that specialized, or we felt really specialized in those key aspects. And over the years that we've been doing this and doing the deployment, that has truly proven out that those three work cohesively together and also are great in their specialty for being able to accomplish what Fifth Third is trying to accomplish. It's extremely important that you choose those right partners. They have the right tools in order for this program to be the success that you need it to be.
Cool.
Thank you for that question, Patty.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
Well, one thing I want to share is some of the discoveries that we had. Some of these will not be surprising to those who have embarked on this. So as we began the installations and the analysis of the consumption, we did discover a few things that we needed to address. One of those was our mechanical deficiencies. So we documented those deficiencies that we discovered during the survey that was done by our integrator, the installation process, and then of course the commissioning of our controls. At each one of those points, items were discovered that needed to be corrected within our mechanical systems. What we found was our in-house team was not capable of being able to respond fast enough to get into the buildings, make those corrections that were needed so that we could start reporting our savings. As everyone knows, everyone's looking at the savings. They've given you X million dollars to do this work. Now I need to know how you're doing on your savings. So we wanted to speed that process up and make sure that we're documenting those corrections. So we started using the BMS installer as our first approach for making those repairs, preferably while they're on site. So if they're there and the transformer's bad on the unit or the fan is not in the right position, they can go ahead and make those changes at that time. If, however, they couldn't, we went on ahead and engaged with our HVAC vendor network and had them accomplish that right away so that we can go ahead and get that done and start obtaining the savings that we were looking for. Unfortunately, we found that we had the next opportunity that we had to overcome. So our savings numbers were not where they needed to be. What we discovered is that the systems were not operating at their optimum performance. They were not operating correctly or efficiently. And I use a term that I've got highlighted there in quotations. Basically, if I have a 5-ton air conditioning unit, it was not providing 5 tons of cooling. Most of that is driven in airflow, either on the condenser side or the evaporator side. And our technical staff, for the most part, did not exceed or excel in being able to diagnose those problems. So we needed some other tool, some other help to be able to get us there. So we discovered a digital optimization software tool that we then had our vendors and in-house maintenance team start using to QC those our equipment. They did each and every unit, and we then discovered it's a airflow issue, it's a fan, it's a speed, it's a whatever it is. And then we engaged immediately with either the vendor or our technician to get those corrected. And I got to tell you, that changed us from a 10 to 12%, which is probably what you will hear as an industry average, to where we're now over 20% during the cooling season. So it's going to be most impactful during air conditioning. But I will tell you that what we have done by correcting airflow and doing the balance in the system to get the air where it should be, it has improved the customer comfort levels, because we're actually getting the heat or the air conditioning into the spaces at the perimeter, not blowing on the thermostat or coming back into the return, all of those things that you wind up running into. So it made a huge difference in what we're being able to accomplish. So ongoing analysis. So this is just the beginning. So the ongoing work is our workspace analytics quickly and easily provides top poor performing locations so that our team can investigate, repair, make the improvements that are needed for our building performance. One of the things that our analytic platform, Switch Automation, has been able to do for us is what we call, sorry for the high-tech names here, BMS biggest losers, energy hogs, and water hogs. So not real high-tech there in the terminology, but the information that's provided for our property portfolio management team is very easy to see, very easy to tell which buildings are poor performing, and be able to make those corrections. And then we can document in the platform when those corrections are made and be able to validate that fixed the problem. One of the things we got so excited about those three aspects is that we then started a building efficiency initiative with our PPM, or property portfolio management team. So now they are engaged in the platform, looking at those poorest performers, whether it's water or utility consumption, and then with our dedicated maintenance staff, going to the site, figuring out what's going on, discovering the root cause. And in some cases, we can make the repairs quickly and easily. Others may require a capital budget change for next year. But the intent we have and the goal that we have is to make those changes, document them, and let Switch know that we've done it, and then validate that it worked. And so far, everything that we've done has proved out and has improved, actually, over time, our performance. One of the things that Switch did for us is what we call a deep dive performance workspace. So this is where probably it's a little more for me or a technical minded individual, where we've identified there's an issue, not sure what it is, not relevant. It's not something that's relevant, quickly seeable by our maintenance staff at the building. So we can go in then and we can look at run times. We can look at heating and cooling simultaneously. We can look at work orders that are being generated. There's a tremendous amount of things that we can see in our deep dive performance pages that really begins to tell you some things about what's going on with that space. And then you can also compare that with other buildings of similar geographics, square footage, and use to figure out what's doing different. What do we have different at that building than I have at others? So that's been a great tool that we've now used and will continue to leverage as we look for, as the easy ones, the low-hanging fruit becomes solved, we're going to deep dive into further analytics to find out so that we can continue to improve our portfolios. Changes in system operation. So one of the things that we've been able to do, which is kind of unusual, I thought, we discovered some things in our analytics that allowed us to further improve our performance and energy consumption. One of those is low ambient cooling lockout and alert. So what we found is some of our occupants would overcome our Fifth Third standards by bringing personal heaters into the space. Unfortunately, what we found is that sometimes they put them in the room where the thermostat is. So I've got a thermostat now at 78 degrees and it's 40 degrees outside and the air conditioning is trying to come on. So what we were able to do once we quickly determined that was an issue is do a cooling lockout. So it's based on outdoor temperature, but also provide an alert to my team, the Fifth Third team, so that we can then go look at what's going on. And actually almost every time somebody's brought in a heater and we have to educate our individuals of the importance of not doing that, especially for the other people that's not in that room where it's 78 degrees. The next thing that we've discovered is the need for extending occupancy hours in extended high ambient conditions. So where we have Florida, for example, the hours of the sunshine and heat continues on beyond what we're open, so our occupancy time. So what was happening to us is in the evening time at 6 o'clock, when it goes into unoccupied, the temperature was rising rapidly in the space. And what was happening then is the building materials were capturing that heat and building it up so that by the time morning came and our smart recovery was trying to bring the systems on, they were having to start earlier and earlier every day in order to be able to compensate. So what we have done now is we actually applied logic to our BMS system that when the temperature is above a certain temperature outside, 1 hour prior to going unoccupied, the system will stay occupied until 30 minutes after scheduled sunset. So it's worked tremendously well. It's an unusual thing, I know, but it has worked extremely well. One of the other aspects that we discovered through the Switch platform is that we were having the janitorial staff come in, and obviously if it's 83 degrees in the space, they're going to hit the override. And we were actually bringing on full cooling at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, trying to run for a couple of hours in an override situation, and then they clean and leave. So by keeping it occupied, we were able to overcome that as well. And that was a plus that we didn't realize until we got into it. Grading building performance, we are now using two aspects: energy use intensity, which everybody is aware of, and also Energy Star rating. So it gives us an opportunity now to be able to compare ourselves together through a Energy Star platform, as well as compare our buildings operations with similar buildings in the market. Switch Analytics has been instrumental in getting our buildings enterprise-wide, including in and consistently updating the Energy Star Portfolio Manager. So that's an exciting point for us. We love being in Energy Star. We've made some improvements. I've got a slide in here that kind of shows that. We'll continue to move that. That's just going to be a plus that happens from doing the right thing. We already have a plan to continue improving the intelligence, automation, analysis, and energy management of both our large buildings as well as our small buildings, because it's paying off. Fifth Third is committed to doing the right thing, and we've learned that having the right partners with the right tools is key to being successful in this endeavor. So just some other slides if you want to go through those. Our current installation for our BMS program is 547 locations. We've saved 1.8 million, and our current aggregate save is from consumption is 17.68%, but actually from dollars, we're at 20.32%. These numbers, I want you to understand, are in branch networks. So when I say 1.8 million, that doesn't include my big campus buildings, where now we're over 3 million in what we've been able to save there. These are branch buildings. The money's there. This does not include any of the savings that we're able to get by being proactive in our building operation and maintenance with our staff, to be able to override systems, do overnight overrides when they're having special meetings, but also to be able to be proactive in discovering problems with the system and scheduling a technician instead of running him out on overtime to get stuff done. Keep going. These next several slides are part of our advanced analytics deep dive platform that I was sharing with you. So it kind of gives you over time monthly average temperatures for this specific location, my combined consumption, electric, natural gas. I can break it down and get deeper in the dive, and you can actually go deeper than this. Keep going. It shows the savings. It shows average zone temperatures, so I can find out whether or not we were actually overriding the system in somebody, and I didn't pick it up in my alerts or alarms, or somebody was ignoring it. I can also see the equipment, how it's heating and cooling. I can look for simultaneous operation. So I may have one unit heating and the other one cooling. I need to fix that. Also seeing the unit's runtime and how they're performing overtime. Keep going. This has been great stuff that you put together for me as well. We'll also be able to pull in the alarm count from our BMS system. This is part of that integration. And also from our work order system, where I can see where work orders have been issued for that site. Here's our Energy Star. We started December 2019 with 204 sites that qualified greater than 75. We had an average score of 54.73. In February 2022, we have 303 sites that now are over 75. Our average score is 60.76. And this is not what we sought to do. This is a side effect or a benefit of doing the right thing and being able to accomplish this task as well, which has got our team excited.
It's awesome.
That's it.
It's awesome, Robert. I really love the energy hog moments, and then how you call out that, you know, in organizations like Fifth Third, you're going to have a wide variety of people working to advance the same goal around sustainability or energy efficiency, or, you know, being best of class for your customers, right? And so having an ability to kind of distill this, what can be very technical information across all the different stakeholders, I think is incredibly important, you know, and being able to show, you know, easy graphs that are easy on the eye for someone less technical, but then also having, you know, within the same platform, the ability to go deep and for yourself and for your technicians that maybe are, you know, needing a deeper understanding of what's going on. I think it's awesome that you're able to provide both.
Yes, we are. And Fifth Third as a whole is excited about what we're doing, and we're able to customize what they're able to see to provide them actionable items quickly and easily.
Exactly. Well, and kudos to Bennett. So Bennett is on the Switch team. He is the engineering services professional that supports Fifth Third. So he helped prepare some of the graphs and helps on a weekly basis, you know, checking in with Robert and his team to make sure that they're solving those events that we find in the platform. So thanks, Bennett, for being here. And if there's any technical questions, Robert and Bennett will be hanging out after we hand it to Peter Rake, who's going to show us a little bit into the Switch platform. So Peter is our Chief Product Officer. And as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, we are really excited about opening up some new ways of getting involved and engaging with smart building solutions that we have at Switch. What Fifth Third is doing is, you know, integrating APIs. He mentioned Energy Star, so that's an integration that we have available through an API, but also using, you know, utility bill analytics, flat file ingestion to get that data into the platform and then action the data. And so we're really focusing on those two data streams today, and as we talk about our portfolio benchmarking solutions. So with that, Peter, are you ready to take it from here? All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Robert. I think that's for you know, anyone that's joined the call live and that's going to watch the recording afterwards. I feel like the things that Robert emphasized there is it's teamwork. This is not an individual's journey. I think you sum it up there, Robert, in that the Energy Star slide, where it is a journey 2019 to 2022, but this will be ongoing. As you said, you're very invested in this, but you do have to choose the right partners, and this does not happen overnight. It's not easy. I mean, there are days where you want to just throw your hands up and say, oh, this is just all too hard. And building analytics is obviously it's been one of those, and I think we share the same frustration that the built environment has not adopted technology as fast as we'd expect. I think I look at our own homes, and we've got more tech in our homes than in some buildings you walk into. So I think at 2022 now, there's a massive opportunity for people to get started. And as Robert has conveyed, all of those data feeds that come in, yeah, you definitely need obviously a supporting platform to do all that analysis, but it doesn't have to happen day one. I mean, this is what I think we want to convey, is that if you've got an open mind, you set yourself up for success with a destination in mind. Again, as Robert said, the partners are very important to get you there. The subject matter expert piece is what's key to the success, I think, of this webinar in case in point, because without those subject matter experts, we're always learning, always, one of those things, ABCs, one of the ABCs is to always be learning, and that's what we do, and we do as a business, and we do as a product as well. And obviously, Bennett's a coach on the sideline that I know that they, speak on a weekly basis. So yeah, again, also thank you for you, Bennett, and your contribution, and Robert. So I just wanted to quickly preview how you can get started. We're certainly not going to dive deep into, all of the interval data analysis that Robert talked about. You can be very aspirational. I encourage you to do that, when choosing a platform, if you're on a digital journey. But what we can do at Switch today is, and I'll just keep it very brief here because I know we're coming up to time, but on the website, we've just launched a Get Started, freemium portfolio benchmarking basics, we're calling it. There's a banner on our website that you can click on that will walk you through to create an account. Fill in your details. It's very simple. You'll get an email come back into your inbox, and then we'll walk you through a configured guide. We call them guides within the platform. So here's where you'll load in your site information. We're giving you just electric only to put your toe in the water of the platform. Upload your utility bills, or your electric utility bills, I guess I should say there. And we've got templates you can download so that it's compliant and it'll work first time for you. Certainly, if you hit any blockers, please contact our team and through the website, and we'll contact you to save. But then really, essentially over coffee, you'll have a visualization like this of all of your sites with the geolocation of where you've put the sites. And then you'll get a couple of workspaces out of the blocks. So we'll give you two workspaces, which will give you your entire utility summary. We'll benchmark. We'll create a benchmark based on your most recent year of data, unlike what we're doing with Robert. We've got configurable baselines, and we can use different years. But in this version, you'll just get the most recent year of benchmarking. This scatter plot is invaluable to identifying opportunities, as Robert sort of previewed. These first few proof of concepts have come out of data like these scatter plots, where you're able to identify the outliers immediately and put a business case back to your peers and the stakeholders that endorse these programs. So we can see here very easily by the scatter plot that site 16 probably needs a bit of attention because it's 2.5 times the next site. So I'll stop there. That's a little bit of a preview and a teaser of what we've got to offer, but we encourage everyone, to get on to here. Decarbonizing buildings, $1.8 million. I think it's 14 million kilowatt hours, Robert, isn't it, saved to date, something like that. So that's a hell of an effort and very impressive. And to your point at the end of your part there, Robert, this is the branches too. This isn't the big guys. This is the branch level, 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, I guess, on average. So very impressive. And if there was any questions from the audience, I don't know if we've got any questions there from anyone, but I appreciate everyone's time. And again, Robert, thank you very much for your contribution to this. Very informative.
Yes, thanks, Robert. I'm going to just let him close us out. My question, Robert, is what's next? So you've got the data, you've got the savings, you've got the team. What does the next 2 years look like for you when you think about, really driving this even further, deeper, faster?
Yes, well, I've already been working with Bennett on where we're going next. So obviously phase 4 will be in 2023, getting our base system in. I've already got leadership's approval to begin phase 5 and 6, which is going to be installing energy meters into the buildings and taking control of the lighting. So keep in mind too that all the savings that I showed, Peter, is just HVAC control. Very minimal invasiveness into the or remote access into the building. I don't have a whole lot. It's just air conditioning. But by taking that air conditioning data, the data that we're able to get from our bill pay provider and all of those kind of things, and being able to compare building to building, all of a sudden begins to drive tremendous savings that we're able to get in our branch network. But lighting, energy meters, that will be probably the next 2, maybe 3 phases to get all of our buildings done. And I've already been working with Bennett on how we can compare that to the electric bill, because I'm just convinced that the electric utility is probably not real accurate, but also it'll provide us real-time data. So I know that the lights are staying on, outside lights are staying on during the day, or the inside lights are not turning off. I'll know those kind of things because I'll have the validation of energy meters there. Not to mention that we use that in hurricanes. Since we just came through a Hurricane Ian in Florida, it was nice to have the connection into the building, and we could see when power came up. For those that did have power meters, I could see that all 3 phases were there. I had voltage, so forth and so on. So our team is excited about moving into phase 5 and 6 and 7. And then even beyond that, we're going to do fire extinguisher monitoring so that we don't have to have people coming into the buildings inspecting them. We can do that remotely and monitor them and tell when somebody pulls one off the wall, all kind of things that smart technology. We're already deploying a technology to control shades, our Meko shades. That's a brand name, unfortunately, sorry. But that is one shade that we're using in our new facilities. We're going to put light sensors there to be able to control when it comes up and down, and we can put max and min levels on it. It's going to be exciting about what the building can automatically do as the sun goes over the building.
It's perfectly
I saw
timed.
your lights go out.
Lights
You need
went
to,
out.
yeah, you need to move more.
I know. Love these smart buildings that we're in. No, that's fantastic. I think, thank you for mentioning the hurricane. This is really a resiliency opportunity for an organization like Fifth Third, and again, providing that optimal experience for your customers and your teammates that are working inside buildings that are often overlooked, smaller branches, smaller facilities that don't often get the same amount of attention that, the world headquarters, the downtown office does. So kudos to you and your team for that, and for thinking about, that long-term resilience piece. We're excited to be a part of it. We're excited to be on this journey with you, Robert. And thank you again so much for sharing your story with us. We look forward to maybe in a year from now, kind of checking back in and sharing, next year's results.
Without a doubt.
All right.
Love it.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining.
Yep.
Thank you, Peter and Bennett, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, Robert. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.